I would say be true to yourself. Reason being is because we give young men these weird advice saying, be yourself. How you gonna be something that you don't know? How can you be something that you're still discovering? You can't tell a caterpillar, be a butterfly. It has to become that. It already has it inside of them. It just has to become that. And I think that, but when you tell someone to be true to themselves, that means that whoever or whatever I'm about to do, if it's not in alignment with my character or who I desire to be, that's not being true to myself. That's a lie. It's false. And then when you get in alignment with truth, then it's easier to be true to yourself. So I think that one of the best things I would probably tell young men is be true to yourself. Is what you're about to do, is it going to get you further or is it going to push you further or pull you further away? And then when you're honest with yourself, that's all that matters. Because listen, you could be yourself and be living a lie. You could be yourself and just be trying to fit in. But when you're true to yourself, you know, yo, I really don't like getting high. Like, I really don't like stealing. I don't want to join no gang. But they say I'm being myself. When you say you're being true to yourself, you ask yourself, you know what? Like, even though I was raised this, everyone said we're a product of our environment. You're not a product of your environment, you're a product of your choices. No one's a product of their environment. They choose to resemble their environment, therefore they're a product of their choices. But when you say to yourself that I'm true to myself, I'm true to Mike, I'm true to Al, whatever it is, whatever that encompasses, whatever that embodies, then no matter what hits you along the way, you'll be happy with the results.
One thing I would definitely tell a lot of or young men out there, because with my job, just seeing how many young men are impacted by their parental relationships. The first thing that I would tell them is that God never promised you perfect parents. He did promise you parents, and he did give you the instructions to honor your parents. And so I see a lot of times kids are so mad and so frustrated with what their parents did or didn't do that they then step into this place where they think it's okay to dishonor them. And so, you know, I've been at that place before. And like I said, I would never want my kids to reject me. I would never want my kids to dishonor me. And so I think that you have to honor your parents regardless of what type of parents that you have, because the reality is they enter this world with their own set of issues and troubles and toxic behaviors and patterns and all these things that we can sometimes forget about because we only think of things from the selfish need of being a child and what we want and what they should have done. But I think you just have to understand that your parents aren't perfect. And so you will one day become a father, and you will have to understand what that's like to be a father in the midst of your own imperfections. And so love your parents enough to honor them. You don't always have to see eye to eye with them. There may be a period in your life where God is purposely removing them from you. I had to understand that my dad couldn't be there for me in the way that I wanted my dad to be there for me, because he had his own addictions and issues that he was battling. And had he been in my life, who knows where I would have been, because I've seen where people have fathers in their lives and they have a bad example, and that only messed them up. And so I'm grateful for the fact that the thing that I thought I needed most, I could not have at that time because it would not have been good for me. And so understanding that whatever your parental situation is, God has a plan for that. And so me growing up without my father there and having to learn how to mend that relationship places me in a position where now I'm working with all these students who have these broken relationships with their father, and I can teach them to mend that. But I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't go through that myself first. And so for me, it's just knowing that every situation that you're going through as a young man, whether you feel like the world is coming in on you, you feel like your parents are not doing what they're supposed to do, if you feel like you're alone, all of it serves God's purpose. And so never miss what God's purpose is. Never allow your pain to overshadow what God's purpose is for your life. And I think too many young boys are running around allowing that pain to overshadow what God's purpose is for their life. I would also tell these young men that it's okay to show your emotions. We grow up in a society that tells us to keep those emotions tucked in, to act like everything's okay. It's not okay to be vulnerable. It's not okay to express things. And yet you have more and more men who are running around dealing with depression and suicidal thoughts. And the enemy is working extra hard in their minds, and they have no way of fighting that off because they have never been taught that it's okay to experience those things. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be hurt. It's okay to feel some type of way. You're a human being. Yes, you're a man, but you're a human being, and rejection hurts for any person, whether you're male, female, and you should be able to express that without somebody telling you to man up, and that's not cool. And it's like, nah, like there's a way that you should express it. You should never express things in a way that's going to be detrimental to you or somebody else, but you still should be able to express when you're not okay. And so I want, young men to know that it's okay to be emotionally vulnerable. It's okay to put yourself out there, so that way God can send you the help that you desperately need. And we can't get that help sometimes because we won't open our mouths and say we need the help. We try to act like everything's good, but everything's not good. And so it's okay to be a man who needs help. It's okay to be a man who understands that, hey, I'm hurt by this. I feel some type of way by this. So, be emotionally vulnerable, and that's where God can really do some amazing things in your life.
I think the best piece of advice that I would give to a young person my age or younger or whatever it would be is find someone who really loves you. And really hold on to that. I recognize more than ever now the necessity for there to be love, period. So when I see all these people, young people or whatever, when they're searching for something, you come to the conclusion that they're searching for love one way or the other. So my thing is, since we know that's what we're looking for, find someone who really loves you, and not loves you to the capacity or understanding that you have of love solely, but really to the capacity of what you need. My daughter is not, I don't just love her to her understanding. I love her beyond that. So I do stuff even when she's not paying attention, because it's my love for her in general, not just because she wants cookies or whatever like that, because that's what she'll process. Oh, this is cookies, this is that. And that's not the case at all. I love her, so I'm going to make sure that she has her cookies. She's going to have her clothes. She's going to have these other things. And so when she finally can cognitively recognize that, it would make all the other things that have been going on more, I guess the phrase would be monumental. Because it's like, wow, you were doing this just because you love me, nothing else. So if you, a young person, find someone that loves you, like, wholeheartedly, and they show it. That's the biggest thing. 'Cause I feel that people tend to say it and they have their own thought process of it, but I think it's really when it's, okay, you love me, and then you show me. So you show me through your actions. You show me in various capacities. I think that's the best way to do that.
Keep your life straight, because you're raising children, and I found out that, children don't necessarily understand what it means to love an invisible God, a God that they can't see or feel. But me as a father, I'm the closest thing that they would have to seeing God, the fatherhood of God. I grew up religiously, and I always thought that God had a baseball bat waiting for me to make a mistake, to hit me over the head. But when I accepted Jesus as Lord, and I understood that God is a father, that he embraces us regardless. I would say to young people that are going to be fathers, young men that are going to be fathers, understand your role, understand what the Word of God has to say about fatherhood. I think of the scripture that says, there are many teachers, but very few fathers. Anybody can teach on being a father, but without that experience, without the heartaches, without seeing the baby being born, without holding him, in your arms, you can't reject the child, regardless. If you're out there and you're shacking up with somebody and she gets pregnant, don't throw the baby out. Nurture him. Be a father. Accept your responsibility. So this is one of the things that I would say to people.
My advice, first of all, is find Jesus. That's step one. You've got to find Jesus, because If you're not born again, if you're not born again, your perspective on how you see a man, and you may even have a good father. You may have a good father. But God the Father will give you an insight into life that will change your perspective forever. It will allow you to be affirmed as a man. If you have a good father that's taking care of you and he's showing you the way, that's fantastic. But you need God's spin on it so that you can be effective to the rest of the men out there in the world. Because right now the world's on fire and people are going crazy. So my spin on it is you must be born again. You need to allow God to get a hold of your heart, because nobody can do that with your emotions. Nobody can change your emotions. You are who you are. You know what I'm saying? Except God. Only He can go in there and manipulate your heart and do things in your spirit that only He can do. And no man can do it. Even your father being a good father, the Bible talks about when you ask Him, will He give you a stone? And God the Father is going to tell you, I'll take care of you. I'll show you. I'll lead you out. I'll teach you how to do this thing. Follow my instruction, my imprint, my word. And that's what it takes to be victorious. You must be born again first. You know what I mean? And then you get some good men around you. You know what I'm saying? They can give you a perspective from God's perspective and kind of lead you and guide you, whether you're young, old, or whatever you may be. God can help you.
Yeah, I guess it would be creating everlasting memories that will last a lifetime for your children, you know. Yeah, I think that would be the best thing, that, you know, memories, things that can be, you know, creating memories on purpose, you know, that will last a lifetime, so that after you're gone, your children will still be able to be strengthened by them, you know.